Africa and Europe, two continents separated by a narrow stretch of water, yet worlds apart in terms of history, culture, and development. For a long time, they've been linked by trade, migration, and culture, but there's never been a bridge connecting them. So why is that? The answer is complicated and all boils down to one place: the Strait of Gibraltar. Welcome back to Geo Journey Explorers. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our videos. The Strait of Gibraltar, also called Fretum Herculeum or Pillars of Hercules by ancient Greeks and Romans, is the channel connecting the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. It's a bit more than 58 kilometers long, around 13 kilometers wide, and about 1,200 feet deep on average. This not-so-long distance separates the two continents and is where the Mediterranean meets the Atlantic. The idea of building a bridge between Europe and Africa has been around for a while, with proposals surfacing over the years. The concept was first planned in 1979, but many believe a diplomatic push between the continents could be the key. A memorandum was signed that year between King Hassan II of Morocco and King Juan Carlos Bermúdez of Spain, expressing a willingness to collaborate in essential sectors. Despite being technically possible for nearly a century, building a Gibraltar crossing would be the most expensive intercontinental water crossing. From the depths of the Mediterranean to the Strait of Gibraltar, the cost and technological limitations were challenges in the past. Today, constructing a 13-kilometer bridge is seen as feasible for modern engineers. For comparison, the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge in China is 164 kilometers long. Another challenge comes from the fact that the strait is very deep, especially where the rocks are closest. The seafloor goes down to a kilometer depth. The Strait of Gibraltar's depth varies from 300 to 900 meters, with the minimum depth being almost as tall as the Eiffel Tower, around 330 meters. Bridging Europe and Africa here faces additional hurdles like tricky currents going in multiple directions. This makes it tough for engineers and hydraulic engineers to figure out how the structure would resist these currents. Even if they figure that out, the underwater supports might not stay steady, and dealing with the 300 meters depth remains a big challenge. For example, take a look at the Padma Bridge in Bangladesh. The bridge is considered to be the most challenging construction project in the history of Bangladesh. The steel truss bridge carries a 4-lane highway on the upper level and a single-track railway on the lower level. The bridge consists of 41 sections, each 150.12 meters long and 22 meters wide, with a total length of 6.15 kilometers. It is the longest bridge in Bangladesh, the longest bridge over the River Ganges by both span and total length, and features the highest pile depth of any bridge in the world at 120 meters. It is the deepest bridge in the world, with piles installed as deep as 127 meters. The construction of the bridge was considered to be especially challenging and almost impracticable due to width and depth of the Padma River. So, considering this, it's a tough call to build a bridge in an open ocean with supports almost a kilometer. The technical hurdles involved in building a bridge across such a turbulent and deep channel are further compounded by geological challenges. The Strait of Gibraltar lies at the junction of the Eurasian and African tectonic plates, and areas where the boundary of two or more plates are located are prone to geologic activity, including earthquakes and tsunamis. These two massive plates are slowly converging, pushing the Iberian Peninsula westward and causing the African plate to rise. This convergence has resulted in several geological features in the region, including the Strait of Gibraltar itself, the Betic Cordillera mountain range in southern Spain, and the Rif Mountains in northern Morocco. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake, one of the most devastating earthquakes in recorded history, was a stark reminder of the region's seismic instability. The earthquake, estimated to have been between 7.7 and 9.0 on the Richter magnitude scale, caused widespread destruction in Lisbon, Portugal, and triggered a tsunami that affected the coasts of Europe and North Africa. The earthquake's death toll is estimated to have been between 12,000 and 50,000, making it one of the deadliest earthquakes in human history. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake and the region's ongoing tectonic activity pose significant challenges for the construction of a bridge across the Strait of Gibraltar. The strait's narrowness and depth, coupled with the potential for earthquakes and tsunamis, make it a difficult and hazardous environment for such a large-scale project. Any bridge that is constructed across the strait will need to be able to withstand high-magnitude earthquakes without collapsing, because it's not a question of if an earthquake will occur, but when. And since earthquakes are just a natural byproduct of shifting tectonic plates, there is no way to stop them. While the geological challenges are significant, the economic viability of such a bridge project also plays a crucial role in decision-making. Speaking of significance and bridge building, do you know what else is significant? Your subscriptions and likes. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. This channel also needs building. Now, the challenge with a bridge spanning the Strait of Gibraltar is that it must be built in a way that doesn't disrupt shipping lanes, and that's easier said than done. In theory, if a bridge were to be built, engineers would prefer constructing it at a relatively narrow point. Let's assume the bridge needs to be 12 miles long. 10 miles will directly cross the strait, with an extra mile on each side to ensure a manageable incline onto the bridge. Keep in mind that any bridge across the strait can't hinder shipping traffic. A drawbridge isn't a viable option because the constant traffic in the Strait of Gibraltar would mean the bridge would frequently be raised, leading to extensive traffic jams. With the advanced long bridges we have today, length isn't a problem for engineers. The challenge lies in the height needed to allow large cargo ships to smoothly pass under the bridge without causing disruptions. The Evergreen A-class, the largest container ships globally, can carry nearly 24,000 20-foot equivalent units and stand over 100 feet tall. Even though a significant portion is underwater, these ships still require substantial clearance to pass under a bridge. The remarkable part is that even larger ships are continually being designed. So, if engineers planning a bridge across the Strait of Gibraltar want to avoid frequent modifications, they need to construct the bridge at least 100 feet above the water, if not higher, to ensure these massive ships can navigate under it seamlessly. Simply put, building the bridge itself is quite tricky. Any engineer attempting this faces numerous challenges, needing to cater to both the drivers using the bridge and the container ships passing under it. But the most significant obstacle in constructing a bridge across the Strait of Gibraltar goes beyond these challenges. It's not surprising that one of the main roadblocks involves the political situation between the governments of Spain and Morocco. Unfortunately, there's more tension and disagreement than any sort of agreement between the two countries. Regarding building the bridge, many concerns revolve around funding and how it will benefit each nation. A bridge spanning the Strait of Gibraltar is expected to cost billions, ranging from $5 billion to as much as $20 billion. This funding would need to come from either the Spanish and Moroccan governments or external sources. The issue is that there isn't a significant economic benefit to building the bridge. If it could generate substantial revenue through tourism or goods movement, that would be a different story. However, this isn't the case. There are alternative routes across the Mediterranean, including ferries, planes, or private boats, serving around 5 million passengers annually for those seeking a vacation getaway. When it comes to moving stuff, big cargo ships can transport lots of things across the Mediterranean without costing too much. And because Europe and Africa are really close at some points along the Strait of Gibraltar, less than 10 miles apart, it doesn't take a long time. The problem is, there's not a strong reason for the Spanish and Moroccan governments to build a bridge. The shipping lanes through the Strait of Gibraltar bring in a ton of money from over 100,000 ships passing through. but a bridge might mess that up instead of helping the countries make more money. For example, the Øresund Bridge, connecting the Danish city of Copenhagen to the Swedish city of Malmö. With cost roughly $4 billion, the bridge was expected to increase trade and tourism between the two countries, but traffic has been lower than expected, and the bridge has been operating at a loss. To recoup this investment, the Strait of Gibraltar Bridge would need to generate substantial revenue through tolls or increased trade. However, the current traffic volume between Africa and Europe suggests that the revenue generated might not be sufficient to justify the immense investment cost. So, will there ever be a bridge between Africa and Europe? It's hard to say. But one thing is for sure, it would be a monumental feat of engineering if it were ever to be built. Are you planning a relocation? Watch our last video about 10 countries that will pay you to live there. Find the link in the description below. Share your ideas on this video and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.